Good afternoon and welcome to the second episode of The Big Hit. I'm Alex Donaldson. With me,
Matthew Sarkis.
Resident Yinzer here. Now, I am from the east side of the stage, and each of us are both very passionate about following the sport of hockey and the NHL. With the NHL season starting, we wanted to reignite the Battle of Pennsylvania. Obviously, you always hear about the big rivalries, the Battle of Alberta, Edmonton versus Calgary, both of them amazing teams, obviously. Calgary just phenomenal recently. But there are some big rivalries, and the Battle of Pennsylvania hasn't been close for a couple years, obviously. The talent hasn't been there, but we are going to try to debate a couple of topics, a couple of specific things, and see which team really adds up. We're going to have Carson telling us over the loudspeaker here some questions, and then we will have a couple minutes to debate them. And once both sides have figured out that neither of us are going to move, then we can move on. Sound like a deal?
Yes, sir.
All right, Carson, you can start us with questions.
Predictions on the upcoming hockey games with both teams.
Oh, Pittsburgh has Philly's number by a landslide. Even if there are skill differentials right now, which I think it's pretty close, fully healthy rosters. But I still think it's just like something when Pittsburgh plays Philly, we kick your.
I mean, that's, a lot of people say that, especially when they're getting older and starting to reach the retirement home, is that I can continue to keep, putting up my knuckles every match and stay on top. But I will say the past couple seasons, the Flyers, even though they are so terribly underskilled, still manage to steal a game every, one or two every season against the Pens. And I am happy to watch that, streaming from out here in Indiana, and I get to tell everybody about it. They've also had some pretty good highlight reels against the Pens in recent memory and really showing their skills in the shootout, which, again, for an unskilled team, they wouldn't have so many shootout wins against the Pens.
I'm honestly more worried about Philly against other teams in the very last game in April, knocking us out of the playoffs again. I don't care about us head to head.
You see, I'm actually really glad that you brought this up because
the Washington Capitals.
Like the last year when Philly knocked the Penguins out of the playoffs. When Philly knocked the Pens out of the playoffs by pulling their goalie minutes after being informed that Detroit scored, thus eliminating the Flyers from the playoffs anyway.
I hate John Tortorella.
It did. It took out the Pens from playoff contention. But the Caps made the playoffs, and go Caps. The Ovi jersey's off screen.
That was the worst playoff team I have ever seen in my life. They didn't deserve that one bit. That was disgusting.
I'm not arguing.
All right, well, boys, we're on to the very next question. Hall of Fame players. Who has the best Hall of Fame players?
Okay.
Give at least two each.
I have four. Let's start modern. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, maybe Chris Letang. I don't like Chris Letang right now. I'm mad at him.
I don't like him either.
Mario Lemieux. I could have stopped there.
Yeah, who else? Anybody else?
You don't get to claim him. We had his prime.
Well, when he was still performing in the playoffs in 2012, when he was playing in Philly, to bury those god-awful tan jerseys. They were terrible. It was a huge W. We knocked those out of the playoffs that year. But
our tan jerseys?
Yeah, those ugly.
I love those.
The ones that look like it was left in the sun for too long?
Oh my God, shut up. Oh
What?
My God, you don't know ball.
Famous Flyer Jaromir Jagr, who actually is a top player in Flyers history. If you don't know it, he has the second most points behind Wayne Gretzky. So there's some pretty good blood there. Also,
How many points did he have with the Flyers?
The Flyers have never had any dirty players on their team ever.
What was their nickname in the 70s? of the team.
Oh, the Bullies, the Broad Street Bullies.
Oh, and they've had no dirty players.
No, no
The
dirty
Bullies.
players. Well, no, because they won a cup, so they can't. They're not dirty.
Oh, I forgot.
No,
Okay.
they're not dirty.
Gotcha. That makes sense now.
But the Pens players are. You know, like that's. I want to set that line there. They are.
All right, it is time for jerseys. So, which team has the better jerseys, boys?
Let's talk about it.
Can I start this one?
Go ahead.
I am of the belief that the Philadelphia Flyers have the worst jerseys in the league. By
I would
a
love to.
And it's not close.
Okay.
The closest team in second would be Washington, which I hate. I think Philly's they're bad. They're terrible.
Which one? Their
I'm talking
current ones?
their current jerseys right
or
now.
the mid 2010 jerseys.
I think
they're my go-to.
I like the mid
jerseys.
2010 ones. The ones right now are terrible. I hate them.
They're rough. They are rough. I don't think they're as bad as San Jose.
I like the third, the black one.
But they're pretty bad. I don't love the new one, but I do love their most recent Stadium Series jersey, and it by far tops that hideous tan thing, and everybody wore the caps out to the ballpark in. On the sleeves, there's enough white for the numbers to be enlarged, and they're orange. They're different, and I feel like it's just a cool color scheme to have out on the ice, and not like some tired old off-white.
You know, we haven't used the off-white since 2016. It's been almost 10 years.
Well, not you guys, but it's been around. It's a trend. It's
I thought you were
gross.
talking. Yeah, it's a good trend. It's a great trend, even.
It's mid. Buffalo did it better.
When did Buffalo do it? Oh, yeah, Buffalo did do it better. Yeah, those were good.
I wanted that. Honestly, that year, I really wanted them to do a little more with their Winter Classics. I really wanted them to do like one of the gradients. The gradients from the 90s, those are some awesome jerseys.
We kind of got that with the reverse retro that year with the Robo. It wasn't the gradient, but I mean,
Lemieux wouldn't let that happen either.
But yeah, Pittsburgh's jerseys right now, I think they're top 10 in the league, maybe top 5. I'd have to look at like all the jerseys. I think they're great.
I think it's really tired, and it makes sense that they're staying with their theme, but it is definitely going to age just like the Flyers highlighter jerseys when, Giroux started reaching the retirement home and Sidney Crosby starts getting dementia. And he will have to stop playing hockey at the age of 70. No. They're still going to be wearing those jerseys, and it's going to stick around as long as 87's wearing the C.
Oh, absolutely. We're not rebranding. I don't think we have to rebrand ever. I would like us to eventually, but I don't think we have to. I think our brand is so timeless. The colors, black and gold, works with the city, works perfectly. We haven't changed those since. When was the last time that Pittsburgh wasn't all black and gold? It was when the Penguins switched from their blue jerseys in the 40s, I think.
Yeah. Like
black and gold, perfect color scheme. That's perfect. The logo, fantastic, timeless. Been using it since the team was invented. It's just not a competition here.
Well, we want to talk about the history of the logo, and there's no team that has a less variation of logo than the Philadelphia Flyers. I think we can agree on that.
So, Canadians, maybe?
Canadians and Wings, but both of them did have...
Yeah.
Did do more.
Well, the Flyers, they made their orange a little darker.
It's true.
They did make their orange a little darker.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm excited because it is going to be significant of the promised Michkov era, but
Bust.
I mean, it depends on how the rest of the team does around him.
Not good.
I'm glad we have that on tape.
All right, the next thing to ask is, we're going to ask about the future of both teams. Which team has the brighter future?
I don't want to talk about this.
Well, the Penguins' future right now.
No, Rutger McGroarty.
Where's Getzel? Isn't he playing? Is he injured? Is that why he's not in the roster? I didn't see him listed.
Yeah, that's he came down with something.
Dang. I selected him in fantasy this year. Except Tampa Bay is weird. That being said, the Flyers prospect pool is phenomenal right now. And I know you probably see it on Instagram, but I want to be your first-hand representative in telling you how completely loaded the Philadelphia Flyers are. So going all the way back to the Alain Vigneault era, Cam York was selected ahead of Cole Caulfield. And look, Cole Caulfield is an amazing player. He is a sniper, and that is something that the Flyers desperately need. But we got that recently in beach golf, and recently came across the water. So while we have been in purgatory for years, wondering if York's going to be a top-tier defender, he finally is, and just in time for people like Jet Luchenko, 18-year-old, to make the top 9 on opening night, and just have killer young core between Owen Tippett, Luchenko, and Michkov. It is going to be filthy. And then you talk about the two-way play. Obviously, you have Sean Couturier on that rough contract, and Scott Lawton's AAV is not great either. So that's part of the future. Is not much better than the Pens in a sense in terms of like cap space, but we are locked into that two-way play, and those two players have a lot of leadership, and I think that them sticking around is going to, again, keep that two-way play culture staying in the organization. So what if it means that we've been mediocre for as long as we can remember? At least now we have a top 10 pick that can maybe score. Screw Cutter Gauthier. He is just
My goat.
He sucks. You saw the picture of him wearing the Ducks A in the preseason.
I don't think so, no.
Well, he had it for the rookie game, and if he didn't get that A, he was requesting a trade out of Anaheim.
Or he just doesn't want to play. That's embarrassing to Philly, actually. That's another point
Okay.
against them. He chose Anaheim.
We're going on Cutter now.
He chose Anaheim.
He didn't choose Anaheim. Anaheim had Drysdale, which is an amazing top 10 defender that we are adding to our top 4.
That you guys, was that a trade or?
Trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, that was, oh my God, what a steal. Cutter Gauthier, he will be a Penguin by 2020. I don't know when his contract's up, probably 3 years.
And it would be great because you guys did just lose Gensel, your last, whiny 20-year-old. And so now you have a new one because Crosby was that for years. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. But then Gensel took the mantle. Obviously, his chirp session with Konechny produced some of the greatest quotes that I've dropped on Penn's post. They are amazing. And then his one against Johnson for going knee on knee with Nolan Patrick. Konechny's the GOAT. He's going to be there forever. I was a Konechny fan since he was on the 67s. I'll put that out there as well.
Didn't they just re-sign him for like 8x8?
Yes, they did.
That's such an overpay. That's insane.
And I would like to hear why.
I just don't think $8 million? That much cap space for a struggling team? That's just a lot. For how many points does he put up a year?
His point totals, I want to say, are probably
like
60s to like 70s.
I was thinking
He's under a point per game.
Yeah, that's $8 million. I could see maybe 7, maybe. I don't know. I just think that's an overpay.
And it's crazy that he's not putting up a point per game pace that he was when Giroux and Couturier were in their primes playing on his line. Now that they're not there anymore. But I think Travis Konechny sticking around with that long deal. Firstly, $8 million. It's not as much as it was 4 years ago.
I guess now
The cap just went up by $4 million.
I guess with Leon on $12 million, Jesus Christ, Edmonton's never winning ever.
No. No, and the Flyers have signed their top forward right now that is going to be he's not in his prime. He's entering his prime now, but he is not there yet. And once he gets some talent around him, he's not only going to elevate his game by having a scorer with him, but he's also going to elevate young talent with him because that's what he did in the past before Lindblom went down. That's what he did. That's what he did in the past with Farabee when he was struggling, and now he's not doing great either. But
I feel like it's a big assumption to assume he's going to get young talent.
Michkov's going to be sliding into the top 6 in the next 3
Yeah, but
years.
that's one guy. You gotta have a team.
No matter what, Couturier is going to be the number 1 center. And Luchenko is looking like an amazing center prospect, as well as Morgan Frost developing into the top 6 he did at the end of last season. Mm-hmm. So I think the Flyers' young team that, again, has been mid for forever is finally starting we cut out a lot of the old pieces. That being said, I think the future's pretty bright for Philly.
Bad. The bad times are coming. I have 3 years of happiness left. After that, it's gone. I get that notification on Twitter. Sidney Crosby has announced his retirement. I am
And I think that's the biggest like thing that I had to stand on as a Philadelphia fan is that we as a fan base have been through trial after trial and just never pulled it off, whether for just blatantly incompetent general managing or just poor coaching. We just can't make it to the finish line. Now the Pens are in a situation where you guys have been there for a while. You guys were in that situation in the 90s, and then you've reacted to that by getting Sidney Crosby. That was a pretty good bone. Now when when Lemieux was MIA, the city was up in shambles. And before Lemieux showed up, the city wasn't even going to have a team. So if they didn't have those first and early talents that were there, this fan base would not stay interested enough to even have the support for an NHL team.
This fan base wouldn't exist. We'd be in Kansas City. Oh my God, we'd be Chiefs fans. That's bad.
Who has the better mascot?
Yeah, well, instinctually I was going to give it to Gritty. Iceberg is in a movie, and he holds a gun, and he almost kills someone.
Adam Sandler's favoritism to the sport kind of invalidates his significance on the film.
What?
There's clear bias that he was able to show up on film.
Why are we talking about Adam Sandler?
He's behind it all.
I think the movie came out before Adam Sandler was famous.
No, any movie related to hockey is in some way connected to Adam Sandler.
Even if it's before he was born?
Yes.
Okay, all right, gotcha. That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
What?
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah. So,
But
Gritty
is kind of overrated, little bit. But yeah, it's Gritty. You give it to Gritty.
I will say I think Gritty is like one of the first steps that like Philadelphia actually took, showing like, hey, we don't like where we are right now, and we need something to like get these people into it and
give them a drop of joy.
There's nobody who has done that better than Gritty. Obviously, his first season that came in was the same season that we went through 9 goaltenders in 82 games. Oh my God.
Should we talk about Philadelphia's goaltending?
Dude, I don't know if we can air it. I'm sorry. I would love to because we have a very clear stance at the Big Hit.
Oh, Carter.
I have a signed puck by him. I don't know what to do with it. I also have a jersey of him.
Oh. You get a seam ripper, you take the number off, you have a blank jersey now.
I was just about to say, I got a jersey of him over the summer for $40. Couldn't walk away from it. It was a reverse retro 1.0. But anyway, the local customization guy in Philadelphia, what he does is if you ship him a jersey of him or one of the 4 other players that were suspended last season, he will take them all for free.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Who has the better fans?
Do I need to bring up the clip that we have recorded from 3 minutes ago? Because he was just saying how...
I'm an outlier. I'm aggressive.
I think he used the term we.
I would like... This fan base wouldn't exist. We'd be in Kansas City. Oh my God, we'd be Chiefs fans. That's bad. I'd like to quote the great Sidney Crosby right now in a clip from, I think, 2008, where he just simply states, I don't like them, about Philly fans.
I'm so glad.
And he talks about how
I'm so glad that you brought
when he's
up this
walking
quote.
off the bus into the rink, he's seeing children flipping him off.
That's what we do, baby.
Disgusting, vile animals with no class, no semblance of manners. No, they're like, have you seen the movie Mad Max? I haven't, but that's how I imagine Philly. I can't describe how much I hate that.
One more quick.
No, I want to talk about that Crosby quote. No, that is why I'm here.
I don't like them.
It has been tormenting my life ever since.
Roll the clip. Roll the clip right now.
Here.
I don't like them.
So now that we've seen the quote that ignited the Battle of Pennsylvania in 2012, during that fateful playoff series, what happened before, what happened after, that honestly, no matter what, let's just preface it by saying that was the most entertaining hockey I've ever witnessed.
I didn't witness it. So.
You didn't witness it?
Bro, I've only been into ball for like 3 years now. I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie.
Oh, no.
And also, I was 4. Or no, I was not 4.
4?
Wait, no. For some reason, I forgot how to do math.
Yeah.
I would have been 8.
So while he's over here slandering the rowdy, disgusting Philadelphia fans,
Animals.
firstly, I think a lot of people can decipher that Philadelphia single-handedly is not the worst fan base out there. There are more universally hated fan bases, more arguably grotesque fan bases, and
Vegas.
Philly is a really good amalgamation of all of it, but that is the experience. If that's happening in Oakland, it's happening at the Link, and if it's happening at the Link, it's happening at all the ballparks nearby. So that's the Philly experience. We're passionate as a fan base because if you think we're rabid towards opposing fans, my God, you should see how we treat our own players. And the best players, the most exciting players have come out of those pressureful situations and just produced some of the best highlights that I could ever think of.
I hate Philadelphia.
That's a good. Anyway, so that specific Crosby quote, I'll take this opportunity to talk about the history behind it, of course. Now, at the end of the regular season, both teams knew that they were going to be playing each other in the playoffs. A line brawl happened before the playoffs even began. So when we met in the second, that was the line brawl that had our coaches yelling at each other, had Laviolette reaching over trying to swat at him and stuff that other coaches get publicity for now, and he was fined for that, and there was no publicity because Instagram wasn't really that big. But ensuing was a 6-game series where Philadelphia got up. Pittsburgh fought back to force a Game 6 back in Philadelphia. And even the first game had a controversial goal. I'll give you that. Briere scored completely off, or was it Briere? I think, yeah, it was Briere scoring completely offsides to get us back into it. And from that point forward, we scored 13 on Marc-Andre Fleury a night.
That's because Fleury is a playoff fraud.
That's very true. That's very true. He's never won you guys anything in the postseason.
I honestly think, this is off topic, but I think he may be one of the most overrated players of all time. Yes. He is 3 cups technically.
Wow.
Those are 2 Murray cups, and who was playing for... Wait.
He was in against Detroit.
Oh, I forgot about our 3rd cup. Oh, we have so many cups, I forget about them. You wouldn't know what that's like. Poverty only having 2.
Very true.
We'll get that later.
We'll get that later.
All right, fine. He has the 2009 one.
But that being said, he was still another first overall pick that was taken right in the same area as Malkin, right in the same area as Crosby. And so as much as you want to say that X player might own another city, no players own Pittsburgh more than the players that are on top of the city, because they dictate what direction the city goes in. They dictate what contracts stay around. That's Lemieux's influence that he's had relevant over the past 20 years. Even if his shares don't give him the most authority, he is always in that top box. And you see that as alumni relations, but there is no organization that gives out more power to their own players than the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And it's worked out. I'm trying to think, in the modern salary cap era, I think we are the best franchise. Maybe Chicago. I forget if they have one more cup than us in this era or not. You might even say this episode is going to be a big hit.
Shut up. All right.
Leave that in.
I'm not going to leave it in. I don't want to leave that in.
Leave it in, please. You shouldn't have given me
Well, that's
the
going
button.
to do it for the 2nd episode of The Big Hit. We'll be back for the 3rd episode next week, and we will see you guys then. Thanks for sticking around. Then we got Sheets, and Sheets is just substantially worse than all.
Shut the Oh my god. Oh my god.